Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. The following content may involve explicit language and materials, so listener discretion is advised. Hey everyone, with me today is Chris with Spirit Cruise South Australia. Reached out to her on Instagram. She is gracing us with her presence. I am so very thankful. I wanted to give you a minute here at the beginning, have an opportunity to introduce yourself, what you do, what your background is, and that kind of thing before we kind of roam into the next piece.
So hi everybody. And thank you, Natasha. Natasha.
You're right.
Yeah, for having me on your podcast. I've been interested in the paranormal all my life. So I've only been a paranormal investigator for about 12 months now, but we've been on many of hunts. I actually have two teams, Spirit Cruise South Australia and Night Watchers Adelaide, which are like side channels for the major ones, which is Spirit Crew Australia and Night Watchers Paranormal Australia. But yeah, not sure. My background is I'm just a mother of three, been a worker all my life. I'm now carer for my mum, but yeah, she comes out on investigations with us as well. Oh, so we've sorry?
That's so cool.
Yeah, she loves it. But we've done quite a few investigations in the year that we've been doing it. I've been over to Tasmania for a 5-day paranormal holiday. That was fantastic. Ooh. With Pete and Angela. Yeah, we've been to a couple of country towns, do lots of cemeteries because they're free. We go everywhere else, you've got to pay for it.
Can't beat that.
Yeah. But I've been to a few creepy cemeteries and had a few things happen there. I don't know if you want me to start talking about my experiences now, or do you want to?
I mean, if you want, you can. I mean, it's really up to you.
I'm fine. I've never done this before, so I don't know how it works.
It's okay. This is my first time with this structure, which actually some of the questions that I already had for you, you're already touching base on. So we're killing it.
Oh, cool.
So we're doing good.
Good. Okay. All right. Then also, well, I could probably start with my very first paranormal experience was when I was 10 years old. I was sitting outside. I don't know why I was sitting outside in the car by myself in the complete dark in a small country town called Corn. My Nana and Papa had a farm there. Yeah, but I was sitting out in the car and then I looked. It was like completely black everywhere except for the light in the car. And I looked out the side mirror and I saw these arms that were lit up and they had long fingernails, like long painted fingernails. I thought it was my auntie, and but it wasn't.
Okay, were they like human fingers?
Yeah, okay. It looked. That's why I thought it was my auntie, because it looked like a lady's arms. They were crossed over, and I could see the long painted red fingernails.
Oh, geez.
And yeah, so. Of course, I got out of the car and ran inside because I realised, at first I thought it was my auntie, but then I realised it wasn't her because it was just the arms and there was no other body.
So the reason I ask is my first that I can remember experience that I had, I was also in a car. I was maybe 15, I think, at the time. And I was driving to my aunt's house, which was literally just across the literal pond. Not across the pond like you are, but literally small pond. And I was in the seat. I had both hands on the wheel. I was getting ready to, back the van up. And I just had this horrible, like, I could just, you just know. And out of the corner of my eye, there's something sitting in the passenger seat. But I'm by myself. And me being me, was very curious. And so I slowly turned my head. And there's the best way I can describe it is there's a Japanese movie called Spirited Away. And in that movie, there's a character called No Face. And No Face has a mask, like it almost looks like a ceramic, Japanese painted mask. But the structure of him, minus the mask, is what was in my seat when I turned to look. And it just had where the eyes would be. It was weird because it's all black. But where the eyes were, it was almost like if there was a color that was blacker than black. It was just deep. And like when I looked at it, it felt like it was draining, like it was pulling stuff from me, like deep, deep in there. And it was taking it. And it just had this long, oh my God, it's horrible. I'll never forget. It had this long arm that reached out onto the dashboard. And its hands had these really long, I mean, they were like jet black, super long, pointed fingers that were like stretched out on my dashboard. And I saw it then, and then I didn't see it again until what's really strange is all this really weird stuff started happening again about a month ago. And I woke myself up in the middle of the night. I was screaming bloody murder in my sleep and I didn't know it. So I woke up because I was hearing screaming, not realizing that it was me doing it.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and then once I realized what was happening, I was like, well, that's weird. So I kind of laid back down, and I've never had sleep paralysis before, but it was like I was laying there and it's 3 a.m. So it's pitch black. But for some reason, all of a sudden, it's like I was awake and I was looking around and things were like I could see. And I was like, this is weird. I shouldn't be able to see. It's 3 a.m. And out of nowhere, the same black arm came out and it reached out to me, and just like right here on my arm with this long finger, it just scraped my arm 3 times.
Ouch.
And the thing is but it was very light. It was almost like a kitchen knife. It was super sharp, but it was just barely touching me, almost like it was like, I can hurt you, but I'm not going to. And it did it 3 times, and then I woke up and it was 10 minutes before my alarm went off and I had to go to work. But
Oh, that's super scary.
yeah, and that's almost 20 years apart. And I never saw this thing again until that happened. And what's weird is everybody's like, well, were you afraid? I was like, honestly, I was like, I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel threatened. I was like, this thing was coming at me, and it's like I recognized it. So I didn't even move. I was just like, okay, like, do what you got to do, man. And it did its thing, and then I woke up. So I was like, okay.
Wow.
We're good. So that's why I was curious when you said a hand. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. No, it was a normal human hand.
Mine didn't have pretty nail polish either.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was my auntie, because she always used to have really long and always painted nails. So, and it looked exactly like her, but it wasn't. It
Oh, that's
wasn't.
so strange.
Yeah.
And it was just the arm and the hand?
Yeah, I didn't say, and it was really funny because it was almost like a torch was like lighting up. It was like shining on and it was just the arms folded over. I didn't see anything else.
Huh.
So,
and you saw it through the mirror?
No, it was through the window.
Through the window. Okay. I wasn't sure. So I want to make sure. That's so interesting.
You know, I looked out because I was sitting in the back seat. I don't even know why I was sitting, and I'm surprised I even still remember it, but probably because it's one of those. Yeah. I just looked to the side and I looked out the window, and like, because I was in the back, so it was the back. I can't even remember which side. No, I remember looking to my right. So, yeah, it's and it was just there. So
when
very weird.
Were crossed, were they like crossed, or were they?
Yeah,
like...
that was sort of. I don't know. Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah.
I was just wondering what the message, you know what I mean? Because like it could be like the stern, like, what are you doing in here or whatever?
Yeah,
or like,
what are you doing sitting out in the car by yourself in the middle of the night?
Yeah, like, what are you
10
doing
years old?
Or it could just be, if you just had your arms crossed, it might just be like, I'm just hanging out. I'm just observing.
Yeah, probably. I'm not sure, but I remember I was like only 10, so.
Oh, that's
crazy.
Like
I'm what am I, 57 now, so a very long time ago.
So did you ever see the same thing again? Or was it just that one time you saw just that one time?
That one time. Yeah.
In that area, because you said that you were on the farm and everything. Did you ever see anything else in that area? No? Okay. That's interesting.
No, very weird. Yeah.
Yeah, so
it was a very old house. I'm not even sure if it's still there, to tell you the truth, but
wow.
Yeah. Old gorgeous house.
Crazy that it's So did you see it out of the corner of your eye before you looked, or could you like feel like you were being watched? Do you remember?
That I don't remember. All I
Okay.
remember is looking to my side and then seeing it through the window. Yeah. Maybe I sensed it was there and turned around.
Yeah, say because if it was on the same side of the car as you, did you like scoot on over to the other side real fast and get out?
Um, I think I got out the same side actually, and just
Hey,
run to the house. So
hey,
yeah.
you never know.
And because I was very scared of the dark when I was a child, so it was quite terrifying every time I was out there by
Yep.
myself, and maybe that might have been contributed to it. So
So I
um,
usually tell people it's not that I'm afraid of the dark. I am afraid of what is in the dark.
yeah, I think that's what my problem was too, because I could sense things.
Yes.
Because
So that
we lived in a haunted house when we were living in Port Augusta when I was about that age. So, and I remember seeing things in that house.
and I sometimes wonder if they know, if they can tell who can and cannot see, hear, talk, whatever to them. I almost wonder if they know and they gravitate towards them.
I think
Maybe
they
it's my
do.
problem.
They could probably. I think they can sense if you're an empath, or can sense them. I mean, I've lost that ability now. I can't see them, but sometimes I can sense if they're around, because obviously if you walk into a room, you can feel the difference in
Oh
the
yeah.
atmosphere, and
Oh yeah.
sometimes it feels heavy, sometimes it feels creepy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I can tell you about some of I've had quite a few since. I think, can't remember if it was before I become a paranormal investigator. My very first scare was I was on I went on a ghost tour through this lady that I've become friends with, and she does a haunted doll tour in a very haunted museum. So
I have a friend that would hate that.
she's she's got lots of haunted dolls. So
Oh no.
it's through a thing called When the Lights Go Out. So I went on one of her. I've been on quite a few of on her tours. I've had sleepovers there as well. That's another story I can tell you about. Is a fantastic experience that I went through. But the very first scare I had was I was on there probably about the third time I went there. Um, there's a cellar in this place. It's like a 2-story house,
Okay.
and there's a cellar in the place that they used to store dead bodies in, from the pub across the road. When somebody died in the pub, they would take them across there. I mean, this place
What?
is built in the 1800s. It used to be called Cobb and Co. It was like a stop for the horses and all that on their way to another place, just to stop to feed them and all that. I was down in the cellar anyway, and nothing much was happening. So I sort of like said, "Oh, there's nothing much happening here." I went to go step up the ladder, and there was a wall right here, and I got, "Come on," whispered in my ear. I terrified the bejesus out of me. My phone went flying up, and I don't even think my feet touched the ladder ruds on the ladder. It was yeah, very scary. And then every time I went into that room that the cellar was in, and I still do, every time I go into that room, I get the heebie-jeebies.
Well, I don't blame you. So
Yeah.
was that the normal practice, was to have a building nearby to stash bodies?
No, this at that time, I think it was just a Cobb and Co, and there was a pub across the road, and they used to just like
Okay.
bring them across there to store them until they got fixed up. I mean, it was like a stop for the horses to have a drink, and I mean, I think it used to be a hotel. Then it turned into, I think it was a school, and then it was a family home, and now it's like a
Oh my
museum. So it's
gosh.
set up as an old fashioned. It's got all old, how they
Uh,
used to live in the
yeah.
1800s and that. So yeah, and it's
That's
haunted.
really cool though.
There's a little kid there, and there's definitely a lady there. um, I felt the lady walk through me when I was going down the stairs.
Oh, oh,
And on that same night, I walked into what used to be the nursery, and it's now a sewing, what they've turned it into a sewing room, because I've got all sewing thing, to take a picture of one of Karina's dolls. And as I turned around to take a picture of the doll, the wardrobe opened. So, I mean, that wasn't as scary as the whisper in my ear, but
Oh my gosh, that is,
yeah,
oh my, that is
I was
crazy.
terrifying. Yeah, no, that
Oh,
was probably my first scare as a paranormal investigator, was having that whisper in my ear. But yeah, and it was quite funny because there was a wall right there, because I
yeah.
had to, like, there was a wall there,
Mhm.
and yeah, and it was in this ear, and I was like, oh my goodness me. Whew, up the
Yes,
stairs I went. I
you
flew up
you
them.
developed superpowers in
Yeah,
that
I did.
second.
Yeah.
That's just
Another
so crazy.
another incredible experience I had there was, like, I had a sleepover. I was actually the only one on the sleepover, which was quite amazing. I was there with Karina and her partner at that time. Um, I actually said to her, why didn't you cancel it? There's only one person. And she goes, no, me and James wanted to do an investigation with you. So I'm like, oh, cool, thank you. So
Cool.
we were in one of the main rooms. We had all the lights. We were sitting on a big, huge, large table, just the three of us, and we had cat balls all around the room. And the cat balls were going off in sequence around the room. Then myself and Karina felt like a breeze underneath the table, and we sensed a child spirit there. And I had this app called Paralis, which is sort of like a Ovulus. And I'd actually, because I knew there was a little kid's ghost there, I'd taken a toy car.
Oh,
My Ovulus said engine. So I went, oh, I've got a car here. So, I mean, I've got audio of it, but you're not allowed to film in that place. So I wasn't,
oh yeah.
and also it was dark anyway. So I got the car and I sort of like just went like that and pushed it like towards the wall, and it come flying back at me.
Oh my
It was amazing. At first it startled me, so I jumped on my chair and I put both my legs were wrapped around Karina, and we were both like sort of like
gosh.
laughing with because it was like oh my god, we got ourselves together. We apologized to the child spirit, said we're sorry, you just startled us a little bit. So we turned the lights on and I continued to play with the spirit. So I'd push the car, and the little boy with the spirit would like pushed it back to us. And we sat there and done that for a while. And I got a cat ball and I pushed it, and it sort of like just went round and then
Oh
went
my
up
gosh.
underneath the table. It was amazing. Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
So I just had my first experience with cat balls last weekend, actually.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of them. Uh, and what's funny is the lady that used them, she had like 4 or 5 of them in this bag,
Yeah.
and she would ask it to do different ones or all of them at once and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
she called it her ball sack, and we
Yeah.
all we all just laughed. But it was so cool because they were going off. It was really really cool.
It's amazing that this is a little toy that they've
Mhm.
created for cats, but we've actually turned it into a paranormal
Yeah,
equipment, because they do work really well.
like
Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of uh items that people use during investigations. They tend to be like, oh well, they invented it for this, but we found out that it does this, and it's a lot of multi-purpose type thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool and interesting to have. Be like, oh well, if you don't have this, you can use this instead, and it's pretty cool. And so when you're hunting, what would you say your favorite piece of technology to use would be?
Probably the K2 meter and the cat balls,
Hey
because they
man, those
seem,
those are awesome.
yeah. I mean, I do have a lot of paranormal equipment. I've got music boxes and
Mhm.
REM pods and alarms and puck lights. But I've just, instead of spending hundreds of dollars on a puck light that you buy for paranormal thing, I've just gone down to Bunnings, which is like our Home Depot, I suppose you would call it, over there, and just bought a sensor light.
Oh,
Works just the same.
yeah, they had these things when we went on our hunt. They looked like fake crystals, and they they
Okay.
they lit up. There was like a trail of them, almost if you would mix
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
lights with the
Yeah.
crystal. And I've never
Yeah.
seen this before either. And something was tripping them, but it was
Yeah.
very strange. Because generally it's frustrating, I think, sometimes because a lot of people they go in and they're all gung ho and they want to get everything. I mean, I
Nothing
can
happens. Yeah.
I can walk in a room and I'm like, you guys might as well move. There's nothing in here.
Yeah.
And they just keep trying. I'm like, there's nothing in here. I'm telling you right now. I'm like, there is nothing in this room right now.
Yeah.
And of course, that did me a whole lot of good. But I try to tell them. They spent like an hour and a half trying to get something to respond in this room. And I was like, guys, there's nothing in here. And then I actually had something that we went down. There was like 5 of us women, and we went in this room where there's supposed to be this male spirit that is in there. And we asked questions. They were all asking questions. I didn't say anything. I'm still not very confident in myself, I guess. And I feel kind of weird when I do something and I'm used to it for me because it happens to me all the time, but I always feel like, kind of like the weirdo, right? Like I'm that weird girl that does
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And so they're all asking questions and, we're recording it. And I had a question. I only asked like one question. That's it the whole time. Everybody else is firing off all these questions. I ask one question and I'm done. And then we left the room and we played it back. And all these people are asking questions and it's like nothing, 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 nothing. And then I ask my question and it's like immediate response. Like you can't understand what it's saying, but it's like a clear something is coming out. It like is doing something. And I'm like, well, that's weird. And then later, the guy that was the investigator that was there with us went and set the recorder down and had asked, thanks for letting the girls come down here. What did you think of the girls? Swear to Bob, whenever I had to record the recording because he had it on his little old cassette tape thingy. And he let me record it. And so I came home and I, slowed it down and took out the background noise and all of that. So that thing says Natasha. And then it sounds like help me. But when you would listen to it before everything was broke down, it just sounded like a scream. Something was frustrated. And when you broke it down, you couldn't even tell the first part. But it was like when I amplified it, it was my name and then this weird string. And it's just really weird to me that most of the time you don't hear it as it's happening. You hear it when you go back and then it's something's there. So far, actually hold on, I have a question about the cemetery real quick. When you investigate a cemetery, when do you go? Like do you go during the day or?
Well, I've been during the day, and mostly because that's how I started off, going to cemeteries and just walking around with the ghost tube app going and K2 meter, during the day. I mean, we've still gone during the day as well, but like it's because you can still get stuff during the day because spirit are around us all the time and you can get action anytime during day. Just at nighttime, it's just got the scary ambience.
Yeah.
Sort of like you can't see anything type thing. So.
Well, I was wondering because around here, our cemeteries, like it's what do they say? They're closed from dusk to dawn. So you can't do any type of investigatory anything, without getting arrested.
Well, there are a lot of cemeteries here like that as well, but there's also ones that are open 24 hours. Like it's mostly the historic ones that they don't use anymore. And you can go anytime, day or night, early hours of the morning. There is one that where we live, the Smithfield Memorial, it's closed, but we've been allowed to go in there at night time and film because they have security guards come around and he just asked us if our car was outside of the cemetery because if it was inside it would be locked in. And I asked him, is it okay if we film? And he goes, yeah, that's fine, no problem. So we've gone back there a couple of times. So so it's fine. I mean, it's mostly stopping people from doing graffitiing and wrecking the graves, being disrespectful. So
that's a good way to get on it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there has been one. I tried to get into the main cemetery in Adelaide. It's called West Terrace Cemetery. It's like a big right in the city. I've asked to go in there and I've been in there during the day a couple of times doing investigations, but they won't let you go in there at night time.
Yeah, same.
And
It just,
I've asked if my crew could go in and do it, like asking permission to go in there at night time. Oh, we don't let paranormal people go in there. I'm like, oh, okay. But they hold their own ghost hunts there though.
so maybe you should next time be like, can I come see my Aunt Gertrude? Gertrude is a name for me. So
Yeah.
we have decided that one of my spooks in the house, her name is Gertrude. She really likes the
Yeah.
bathroom.
Okay.
She likes to flicker the lights off and on when I'm in the bath. I don't know
Oh,
why.
cool.
It's just a thing that ever since I moved in, it happens. So what would be your favorite place that you've hunted so far?
Uh, favorite place. I mean, I've got a few of them, but I'm going to say the Freemasons Lodge in Adelaide. We've actually got a investigation coming up there on the 8th, through another. I'm a part of 3 groups, so it's my
Yeah.
husband's group called Smithfield Paranormal. So we're going in there, and we've got a good collection of very experienced paranormal investigators. I'm not sure if you've heard of Alan Tiller before. He's a well-known Australian paranormal investigator that was on a film, on a series called Haunted Australia. He was on there with a few other people, him and his wife. Another paranormal team from South Australia, and also Pete and Ange from Spirit Crew and Night Watchers Paranormal are coming as well. So we've got some good people coming with
That sounds
very,
so like so
a
much
lot of
fun.
experience. Yeah. This would be probably the 3rd time we've been there. It's haunted with kids, and we've actually got a lot of activity when we're kids, and there's a old, I'm not sure if it was like one of the grand masters or anything, but a lot of people have seen this old man with a beard with 6 fingers on one of the floors upstairs. They also have the lifts opening and closing up by themselves, and there's nobody in them.
So when you say
So
6 fingers on one hand, or like he
yeah,
only has 6 fingers?
no, he had 6 fingers on one hand.
Oh, okay. I was sitting there trying to
Yeah.
picture it, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That
He
sounds
actually had.
that sounds so freaking fun.
It is. It's a very creepy, very old building. I think it was built in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So it's a 4-story building
Oh,
in the heart of the city. So it's really good. My very next probably favorite one and I'd love to go back there, would be the Hobart Penitentiary in Tasmania. That's where I've had probably the second, or I don't know, it's on par of getting the whisper. Oh no, actually, it was more scarier. This place is really creepy. You can feel the
yeah.
atmosphere in the whole place. I even went to the toilet and felt creepy because the toilets are haunted as well. So,
Oh,
and this place is very historical. It's not a running prison anymore, but they just it's part of the historic part of Hobart, and they do run ghost tours through there. But we were lucky enough to go there by ourselves. It was just myself, Pete, Angela, and her mum, plus the two hosts. A lot of places in there we went in these tunnels that they used to hold the prisoners in, that were underneath the courtyard. So these prisoners were chained up in these very dark tunnels for hours on end, while they were waiting for their to go up into court to have their sentences read. So we went down there. It was just myself and Angela. It was pitch black. All we had was the light from our phones. We had K2 meters going. We had these things called like alarms, which had censored when they sent something off. They were going off. While we were filming, I was because there was two tunnels. I was looking down one tunnel. Angela was filming down the other. We were live streaming at that time as well, and we were standing sort of like by these spiral staircases. And I got in the back of my head poked really hard.
Hell no.
Oh yeah, no, it was terrifying. We was I turned around and I said to Angela, "Was that you?" And she's like, "No, that wasn't me."
So that is the second day you developed superpowers.
No, we didn't stay down there. So we stayed down there, sorry. We sort of, and we actually both got poked again. So we, just after that, and then we heard a growl. We were both of us were terrified to the point where we were peeing ourselves virtually. But we were, yeah. And then the alarm went off. Angela got poked, and then I got poked in exactly the same place again. And we would, it was horrifying. And Angela's like, I need to go to the toilet. Can you stay? And I'm like, there's no way I'm staying here by myself.
You are not leaving me here.
No way.
So it's interesting that you say that happened at the penitentiary. My first ever ghost hunt was at the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield. And both me and my friend ran into a shadow person. That was not good. Then we went up to the third floor. So the way there's a setup is you have, it's like a big giant square full of cells. And then there's just this small, like 2-rail little metal, I don't know, railing, I guess. And it's just real small. And every floor, that's the only thing around it. I mean, it's jail cell and you walk out and all you have between you and a 3rd-story drop is this little tiny gate. We came around the corner and me being she called me the spookometer. I came around the corner and I was like, okay, something's down there and I don't think it wants us to go. And me being me, I pushed my luck. So I went a little further, and I mean, it just kept getting worse and worse. Like, I was picking up on it. I was uncomfortable. I was like, man, whatever it is, I was like, I'm pissing it off severely. And I got about 2 cells down. And I mean, everything, it was like goosebumps, everything stood up. And all of a sudden it felt like somebody was pushing like my shoulders and shoving me down where I came from. And I turned around, I was telling her, I'm like, go, go, go. I was like, you gotta go. I was like, we gotta go now. I was like, we gotta run. We don't run, but we were running. And it was pushing, and it just kept pushing me. Like, it felt like it was just going to push me over the edge of the railing.
Oh dear.
And I sped up a little bit and went around the corner back the direction we came. And as soon as we went around the corner, everything stopped. It was fine. But then we found out, we asked the security guard, when we left for the night, we asked if anything weird happened to him. And we hadn't told him anything that happened to me. And we were just curious as what he experienced. And he was talking about, he was on the 3rd floor and he was down like 2 or 3 cells, and something was trying to, and he's like, and he was a big guy. And he's like, it took everything in my power. I was hanging onto that railing for my life because something was trying to push him over the railing.
Oh dear.
In the same spot I was in. So that was definitely a little scary.
Definitely.
Do you get more, would you say you get more EVPs or more physical type interactions? Do you have anything that happens a little more than others?
I mean, although we have got more EVPs, but it's probably more interactions with our equipment. We use a lot of phone apps that have worked really well for us, and like we usually have 2 or 3 of them going at the same time, and they're actually confirming each other with what they're what they're saying. Probably it depends. Sometimes we get nothing at all, but and then other times some equipment will go off, but the others won't. Probably the scariest ones is when the alarms go off because they're so damn loud. They scare the bejesus out of you.
Yeah, there was something that they had at the hunt I went with last weekend. It was like a cylinder, almost like a box with a little antenna that came up.
Yeah.
And if something went over the antenna, I guess it would like beep or something.
But a REM pod?
Maybe. It never went off while we were up there, but
yeah.
And they had this weird, it was like a music box. There's like the shape of a coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when something passed in front of it, it would start playing the music.
Yeah. Music. Yeah. I've got one of those as well. Yeah.
Oh, it was creepy. It was creepy.
Yeah. Especially when that goes off. I mean, if people walk past it, it will still set it off. But it's like when you know that there's nobody around where the music box is, and it goes off. It's like, it's funny. I mean, I get excited when the equipment goes off, so I love it because it means that there's something there. And I've got good communication with the REM pod as well, because when the spirit it senses when they're around, and like the red light will go off. And then did you want me to show you some of the equipment that I've got?
Oh, let's do it. I'm down.
Yep. Just
Heck
bear
yeah.
with me and I'll grab my big. Oh, no. Oh, there you go. I thought I'd lost you then because I
Oh
unplugged
no,
my
I'm here.
phone. So just bear with me, because I'm on my phone. That's why it's moving around. So I apologize for all the movement. We'll just move it.
See,
I'll just,
it's fine.
yeah,
I mean, I have a little
gotta
bit of
go.
stuff. I was really bummed out because when I went to the last hunt that I was on, I actually was super sick for like a week beforehand.
Oh, no.
And so I didn't get to stay like when I could have recorded. I just got this new like it's a night vision camera,
Yeah.
like a GoPro, and I wanted to use it so bad, but I was struggling. I was like, we ended up leaving early because I was like, I can't do it. It was 2.5 hour drive. I was like, I've got to go home. I was like, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah, no, it's I'll just show you. This is I don't know if you can see. I don't know if this is my case that I use.
Okay,
So I've got, as you can, oh no, am I going to be able to do this with one hand? Sorry.
you're right.
Sorry for all the moving around. So REM pod. This is my
Yeah,
REM, well,
that's
one of
it.
my REM pods anyway. Yeah. I mean, I don't have the antenna in, but when it's got the antenna, these all different lights start compared to when if the spirit's
Mhm.
around, it senses all the like a change in the atmosphere. When the spirit's around, if the spirit touches it, it turns green. But I've had lots of good communication through this one, where the spirit's touching it and it's just continually touching it. And then I say, can you stop touching it, please? And they'll stop it. We can also use it to, if we ask questions and ask
Mhm.
them, are you a male? Touch the REM pod and it'll go off. So there's that one. I've also got this. I love this one, but it needs new batteries. This is another type of REM pod.
That is pretty sweet looking.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
I like that one. A little coffin.
Yeah. What else have we got? I've got three different types of REM pods. So this is probably my very first one that I bought because I probably the cheapest one, which is just a little box like this.
Okay.
So when you turn it on, it just
Oh,
makes that noise when
yeah.
that's been knocked over. This is my music box. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand, but probably the REM pod is probably one of the best pieces of equipment I've got. And this is my music box.
Ooh, does it play a certain song?
Yep.
That's very similar to the one that I had last
Yeah.
week.
I like this because the sensor is like 360, so you can walk, either
Oh.
side of it and it'll go off.
Yeah, the one that we had, it had a like a panel in the front, so you had to walk in front of it.
Yeah, a lot of them are just like that. They're just like in the front, but this one is excellent because you lay it flat and it goes all around. And this is obviously you've seen a K2 meter, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I won't need to show you that. This is a new piece of equipment. It's very similar to the flux, the triangle thing that they use for the yes/no questions.
Yeah.
This is actually built in Australia, and it's like this is called a ghost response box. It's called by a ghost response box by Think Lab Designs in Australia. So this is a design. These have just been released. So
Oh,
this is but you turn it on and it's got to be
it looks like
but
a big iceberg.
pretty much the same as it's the same as the yes no machine. I thought my husband was talking to me. This is cute. My REM bear.
Oh.
I don't have a battery in at the moment, but when it's touched, it's only gone off by spirit probably about 2-3 times, and I've had it for a year. But when you squeeze it, it makes a high pitched noise, and the arms, like the hands and the feet, light up red. But yeah, very
I'm
very
pretty
expensive.
sure I know some spooks around here that would love that.
Yeah, well, one of my dogs loves soft toys, and she's actually like, I didn't put it up properly, and she picked it up and nearly wrecked it. So I'm like glad she didn't wreck it because this is like $100 and something just for
Oh my
this.
gosh. Oh wow.
Yeah,
But that's really clever. I
yeah.
wouldn't have thought about, stuffed animal. Everybody keeps asking me like, well, have you laid out any toys? Because my
Oh,
my kids are here. And I'm like, hell no. And they're like, well, I'm like, I don't want to encourage that.
Oh yeah, no, I do have another one that I use quite a lot. Where is she? And I was, because I love secondhand shopping, and I was looking at, because I collect haunted dolls as well. So
Oh my gosh.
I don't
That's
know
so
what I've done.
crazy.
I don't know what I've done with her.
I'm pretty sure my husband would kill me if I came home with a haunted doll.
I know I've got about, well, I've got a few dolls, but I've got about 5 haunted dolls. So, but they're like good spirits. So I don't know what I've done with my.
Maybe
Oh
she's
well,
hiding.
she is hiding. She doesn't want to be. She was on the table before. I mean, I've seen her on other paranormal. I think it was the Foreman brothers have used it before. Oh no, I think it's Haunted Nightmare they do on YouTube. But it's a little doll. I mean, her arm mechanism broken, but she, like, when she senses something, she laughs and blows a kiss. It's so cute. Oh, hang on, I'm an idiot.
I might
It's
have a
in
coronary. That thing goes off.
Here she is. Here I'm looking for her, and she's in my
Oh
door.
my gosh.
So when you turn her on, I mean, she's gone off quite a few times, and it's quite creepy when she does. But you just,
Oh. Ugh. Oh no.
yeah.
I couldn't do it. I'd be out of that room so fast. I would
But
have
yeah.
superpowers.
But yeah, that's I mean, obviously in the cat balls, and this is the puck light I was talking to you about as well. It's just a sensor light, pretty much.
Yeah.
Same with this, same sort of deal. It's just a sensor light. Put it on auto and it lights up. Other than that, I mean, there is another device that we use. It's called a Fueled by the Sun. Sorry, it's in my room. Sorry about this. I'm going backwards and forwards. That we've just got. It's probably one of the best paranormal equipment that we have bought, and it's called a hang on, it's got sensitive. What's it called? Static field box.
It looks like a
So
control.
it's sorry.
It looks like a remote control car controller.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, but it's another thing by, I think, Lab Design. So this is like a new, probably something that no other paranormal person or group has ever used before. But it actually just measures the static field around the area, and it probably works well. So when I've got it turned on now, and it's got I might have to take these. No,
I'd
it's
be
not going to.
tempted to set some of the stuff off in my house to see what happens.
Yeah, so you can hear the alarm that it's making, because
Yep.
it's my dog. It's just sensed my dog walk up to it. But yeah, that's probably one of the most accurate pieces of equipment that we could use as a paranormal investigator, because it actually is more truer and less likely to be something fake.
Yeah.
Not fake, sort of, if you know what.
Like a false read.
A false reading, yeah. It's more positive than anything, but I have to keep these white things on it because the wires are really sensitive, and I don't want them to break off. They're just copper wires. But that's another new piece of equipment that we've just received. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I've got a few more. Obviously, I've got a block about 50 cat balls. And we use things like the ghost box and what's in here. Yeah, ghost box and the S box. So this one here.
Yeah.
And the red S box.
I changed the batteries in it, and then I put it in storage, and then I pulled it out last weekend, and the batteries were dead.
Well, spirit can drain batteries.
Yeah, everything else was fine. Only that had a problem. And I was like, oh, okay. You just want to talk. All right.
Yeah, yeah. No, we've had many a spirit gone in with fully charged cameras and go to film, and the battery's dead straight away. So
I've had, when I go, I try to charge the device and in the battery that's in it. Then there's a spare battery, I charge it, and then I have like boxes of extra batteries in my thing, like just to be safe. It's really crazy.
It is. It's amazing what they can do. And they can also drain you as well. So
they definitely can take a toll. I've dealt a lot with that. Some of them aren't too bad. Have you noticed in your experiences like that they do in fact have different personalities, like different types?
Oh, definitely. Some of them can be playful, some can be nasty, some of them just want to scare the bejesus out of you. Yeah.
I sometimes wonder if there are some that like require you to be scared, like almost like they feed from your fear.
If they do, if they know that they can scare you, that will make them stronger. And that's more probably demonic black spirits,
Yeah.
I would say, that want to do that because they feed off of your fear, because you're
Mhm.
sending out a stronger sensory field, I would probably say, and then they feed off of that and makes them stronger.
Yeah. I had a woman once describe me as a walking battery.
Yeah.
Um, which I mean, I noticed it, but I'd never asked about it or did anything with it. And I just I just assumed everybody was like that. I didn't think twice about it. And she ended up, it was funny because they would, they put your hand out and they're like, give me your hand. And I'm like, ooh, I know this trick because I do it to people all the time because I can't explain what it is. I just know that it happens and it's so cool. So we, put my hand, and she was like, yep. She was like, I can, like, she's like, it's almost like you stick your finger in a socket. But yeah, she was just, and that's why I tell people, I'm like, it almost feels like it's an electrical current. I was like, and I don't know what it is, but I'm like, maybe that's why a lot of things kind of gravitate. That I wanted to ask you. So you said you used to see things more than you do now, but now you don't. What did that?
I think fear, maybe.
Oh,
Because it's only sort of like probably the past 30 years or so that I've not been sort of like afraid to go out in the dark, whereas before I was like terrified.
mm-hmm.
I'm not really, maybe life just like went on and I had kids and stuff like that, and it just sort of like, and I wasn't concentrating on it. I'm not really sure, but I mean, I have, like you, I have seen shadow people. Like, well, only two, but my first one was when it was terrifying. I was
Oh,
at that time I was with my ex-partner, and he was a bit of an alcohol. He used to come home drunk all the time, so, and he was very aggressive,
yeah,
and not a very nice person, and would get sort of like physical as well. So
yeah.
I left him in the bedroom and went and slept in my daughter's room. I woke up, it was dark, and there was this black figure standing in the doorway, like full on figure, but it had this red fire aura around it. And it petrified me, where I got like, I was scared stiff, I couldn't move. So it was like almost like I had night fright. So now I
Yeah.
know I was awake because I managed to get over it. And then I shot up and turned the light on, and it was gone. And I just slept with the light on for the rest of the night. So, I mean, that
Oh my
was,
God.
yeah, not nice. But
Yeah.
it was a horrific looking. I think what scared me was like, because it was a full shape. You could see that it was a person,
Mhm.
head, shoulders, like perfect shape, but it was black with
Yep.
this red aura around it. Sort of like, yeah, it was
Oh,
not very nice. So I'm thinking maybe it was the ex's attachment or something, was coming to see, hey, why are you sleeping in here? But
yeah. That's
on the
well, that
second,
does make sense. Yeah.
yeah, no, it wasn't. It was scary. The second one was like when I went to Old Adelaide Jail, which is like a historic point where they've just, it's not a working jail anymore. It
Yeah.
closed in the 1980, I think it closed. But I was walking around because I had what's it called? A trial cam set up in one of
Mhm.
the courtyards. So I walked around. This sort of part of the building had two entrances, and when I went to pick up my trial cam, I walked past one of the doorways, and I saw this shadow person walk up the other end of the hallway. I saw it walk past. So I
Oh,
went and asked everybody if they were in what the room was called, was a reformatory, and they went no. And I'm like, oh, I just saw a shadow person. Yeah.
oh,
And that didn't scare me at all, but it was a good experience. And the second time I didn't see it, but we captured it on a Polaroid picture.
oh, those are always so cool.
And it was, yeah. So I've got physical evidence of a shadow person, but obviously we didn't see it at the time. We were sitting in another haunted hotel in this very haunted town called Kapunda, and we were in one of the hotels, and we've been there a few times, hired out the whole top of because they hire out rooms and everything that you can stay
Yeah.
in. So we hired out the whole top floor so we could have it all to ourselves. and we were doing an investigation in one of the hallways, and we had all the lights out and we had all our equipment around, and Angela popped out a Polaroid camera, took a snap, and we snapped a
That's so
spirit person,
cool.
like a shadow person. Yeah,
So we
it's
went,
really cool.
when I got married, we were down in Tennessee, and there was this area. So it used to be a cemetery, and they moved the bodies. I don't
Yeah, no, they don't. Yeah.
And they built stuff around it, but there's this one patch. There was something about the patch, the person wouldn't give it up, so they couldn't dig up the body. And you could see it. There was just like 2 tombstones at the top, and we were all there. Everyone's taking pictures, of course. And I pull out my phone and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I need to take a picture. And so I just held it up, snapped it, and then just put my phone back in my pocket for a minute, didn't even look at it. And we're all looking and we don't see anything. And then as we go to walk away, I bring my phone out, and shit you not, in the tombstone is a silhouette of like a woman, like the petticoat dress with the little hat, and she just looks like she's just like side view, like a profile or whatever that view is called, and it's just her in like a shadow in the tombstone. And it's dark.
That's
there's
amazing.
no light, there's no nothing. Everyone else's photo, nothing. We all took photos within the same like minute, and mine's the only one that showed anything.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was just her little silhouette. It was cool. And she just visiting the grave.
I know, it's amazing when you capture pictures of the paranormal. So I've actually captured one on my trail cam as well, an anomaly going past, which was amazing.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I've
not tried to catch it on film. Actually, funny story. I think they like it when I talk to them. My husband does not believe in anything. He calls it all hocus pocus. Sometimes thinks that I'm crazy because I hear and see and feel and all of that stuff. Yeah. But we had a treadmill actually out here, like right over there. And I used to use a treadmill. It worked fine, no problems. I mean, it was old, but it worked. And one day I was in the house and I'm like, listen, guys, I'm like, I know you're here. I know you're here. I've heard you. I've seen you. I am aware that you're here. I'm like, but he doesn't believe you. So can you leave me alone for a little bit and bug him so that he believes that you're here? Shit you not. Next day, I get a phone call. He's freaking out because he walked out of the house, and then our clothes is enclosed. Wow, our porch is enclosed. And he walked to the door, and he opens the porch door to walk outside to like check the mail, and the treadmill turns itself on.
Wow.
And he's nowhere near it. So then he calls me, and I'm at work, and he's like, babe, the treadmill just turned itself on. I was like, what? And he was like, the treadmill just turned itself on. He goes, I was going outside. He's like, and it just turns itself on. He's like, how do you turn it off? I'm like, there's a little bar, slide it to the right to go faster, all the way to the left, will turn it off. And he's like, it is all the way left. I'm like, okay. And I can hear it in the background. I'm like, pull the safety switch, because you pull the safety switch, it should automatically kill it so you don't get injured. And I hear click, it's still running in the background. And he's like, that didn't work either. I'm like, oh, crap. I was like, unplug it. That's got to work, right? Kill the power. And all of a sudden I hear it, and I hear, the sound stop. And he was like, thank God, because we were going to have to move. That didn't work. And the best part was I have a Ring doorbell.
Yeah, they're good.
This was on camera. Here's what frustrates me. I downloaded that video. I sent it to people. I saved it. When I went back, because I wanted to put it in an episode, when I went back to find it, it's not on my cloud. It's not on my computer. It's not on my phone. It's not in the messages anymore. And I can no longer get to it on my Ring doorbell. It deleted itself.
Yeah, I've heard of that happening. Yeah.
I was like, I had evidence. Real evidence.
I know, now it's gone.
I was like, dang it.
Frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. Like, I don't generally, it's so much stuff happens that I'm just.
You're haunted. It follows you, does it?
I'm like, it's me. I was like, that, or I'm really good at every house I've ever picked in my life has been haunted.
No, a lot of people do have attachments that follow them. Yeah.
And they, like, I don't know. I'm like, most of the time they're pretty cool. They don't really bother me. The kids kind of are a problem sometimes. They're a little creepy. I don't do the disembodied giggle is not my thing
Yeah.
at all. Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's creepy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've had I have my son is 12 now. And I lost 4 babies aside
Oh,
from
I'm
him.
sorry
So
about that.
they were very traumatic. They required some surgeries and stuff. It was not pleasant
Yeah.
us. And they follow me everywhere. So one of them is a little butthole. I don't know which one it is. I haven't figured it out yet. But one of them's not very nice. Uh and I was in my room and I had the door closed. And I always sleep with a headband on with speakers and I play rain sounds to help me sleep because I have insomnia problems. I'm listening and I'm, getting ready. I lay down and I hear, Mommy. So I, pause my music. I'm like, hey, buddy, what do you need? Nothing. I'm like, Booger, out there?
Oh,
Nothing.
yeah.
I'm like, whatever. So I lay back down, hit the thing. A few minutes later, Mommy, I pause it again. I'm like, buddy, are you okay? Nothing. I'm like, what the fuck? So I lay back down. I don't know why I keep laying back down instead of just getting up. But I hit the button, and a few minutes later, it was like I could sense the panic in the voice. It was no longer a mommy, it was mommy. Like it needed my attention. I mean,
Yeah.
I shot up so fast. I mean, headband came off. I was sitting up and I'm shaking my head. I'm like, did you hear that? Did you hear that? And he's like, did I hear what? I'm like, you didn't hear that? I was like, there's a kid. And he's like, I didn't hear anything, babe. Go back to bed. And then by then I'm like, and I mean, it sounded like it was right on the other side of my door. And I of course now cannot physically get myself to sleep until I could go look at my child to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And I opened the door real fast because I was like, what did you? And there's nothing there. Like nothing. And his room is on the opposite side of the house as me. So I start walking and I walk through the kitchen and I'm like over to the dining room. And as soon as I turn and I start getting close to my son's room, behind me, all of a sudden it's like, I mean, all the hair stood up. I had goosebumps. And the thought occurs to me that I'm like, oh my gosh, that wasn't my kid's voice. And then I hear giggling behind me, like, like, ha ha ha, gotcha.
Yeah, gotcha.
And
Yeah.
I turned, I mean, I was like, oh, I was scared to death that I was turned around real slow and there was nothing there. And I was like, listen, and I talked to him just like they're there. I'm like, listen, I'm like, that is not okay. I was
Yeah.
like, Mom's trying to sleep. I got to work tomorrow. I was like, and I don't find this funny. I was like, so don't ever do that again. Got it? I was like, I am not okay with this. And then I went, opened the door to my son's room. He is out cold, like sawing logs, never even budged.
Yeah.
But then I had no problem. It's never happened since I scolded it. Or I'll be in bed and I'm laying there. And when a little kid, when they're like playing tickle, they're probably 2 or 3 years old, whatever I imagine it, maybe 4, and they go tickle,
Yeah.
tickle. Okay, yeah,
Tickle,
that
tickle, tickle. Yeah.
yes, on my toes.
Oh,
Well, I'm laying down,
wow.
and it'll be like tickle, tickle, and I'm like, and at first, like I'll kick my foot around because I think it's the cat, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I swing my foot around, and I'm like, stop, nothing. I'm like, what the hell? And then it happens again, and I'm like, stop, Jesus. And so I'm kicking my foot around. I mean, at one point, I am like flailing like a fish in this bed, trying to get whatever it is off of my foot. Well, it wasn't the cat because my cat weighs 17 pounds. I would have felt that if I kicked it.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I felt nothing. And then it starts doing it again. And again, I ripped my headband off and I'm like, will you stop? And there's nothing over there. Okay, listen. I'm like, guys, I'm trying to sleep. You need to stop. I need to get to bed. I got to work on the morning. I need you to cut it out. And then they cut it out. It's the weirdest thing. It's like they listen. Like, I guess that's good.
Yeah, I'm going to say at least they stop.
Yeah.
Stop when you ask them to.
Yeah, and it's just been, I mean, just random stuff gets like moved around. I was actually, so this, what's really interesting is there's this one lady I record with, and every time I record with her, something really weird happens. So one time it was the lights flickering. Then we found out when she went to edit, right before the lights flickered, my microphone picked it picked a man up on top of my voice. And there was a man in my house. and it's clear as a bell. It just says almost dead and then like continues. And we had no idea it was there.
Wow.
So there's that. Then I recorded with her again, and I was talking about like a spooky thing that happened to me, and all of a sudden out of nowhere my nose just starts gushing blood everywhere, and I'm like, oh shit, like I'm bleeding, hold on, and I'm like, it's everywhere. I'm trying to find something to stop it with, and I'm like, hold on, I'll be all right in a second. And I was like, I'm sorry, like I won't. Okay, we'll move on, we're not going to talk about you, I apologize, didn't mean to. Stopped.
Yeah. Wow.
And whenever I went to go find that video, when it recorded, all that got recorded, the entire video was black screen.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
so they
all black.
obviously didn't want you to record.
It did not want to see that. And then the next time I was recording, well, actually I was recording with another couple, and we're maybe 10 seconds in. I mean, I just hit record. And all of a sudden I'm like, man, I'm like, my face is on fire. And they're like, what? And I'm like, and I went like this, and this whole chunk right here. I mean, it looked like a footprint.
Oh,
on
wow.
the side of my face. And it was on fire, and like my ear was all hot, my neck was hot.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck? I'm like, that's so weird. And then I stopped recording at the end. And like as soon as I stopped recording, I still had them on the thing, and I was like, look, and it was gone. But the whole time we were talking, I had this, it looked like somebody kicked me in the face. It was so bizarre. So whatever it is, I don't know if it likes them or doesn't like, I can't tell. But they sure like to be present when I talk to her.
Maybe they don't like it when you talk to her.
That's what I'm like, well, do they like it or do they not like it? And then I'm like, I can't tell. And then
I'd say they wouldn't like it if they're trying to do that sort of stuff. They're trying to get you away from it, I would say.
Yeah. And then I caught one of them, something, it did not sound like a person, was caught. It agreed with me, whatever it was. And what's really creepy is I was talking about demons at the time. And I made a statement, and I literally, so it's on my Instagram. I don't know if you've been on there yet, but there's a video on there. And it's the recording. And I am talking, and I say, I don't believe you have to be sensitive to be visited by demons. And then I start talking again, and there's just a little pause. And in that little pause, it sounds like a very deep, growly, yeah. Like it agrees with.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. And so also, I posted on the Instagram as well. The background says ouch, was that a ghost? And it looks like it looks like a podcast episode. It's like, I think 18 seconds long or something. That's the one where if you listen, there's a little weirdness at the beginning, which is, I tell people, I'm like, I know it sounds weird, something's there, I don't know what. But then a couple seconds after the initial one is when you hear the almost dead, and then it just keeps going. And so that's on my Instagram as well. So you can check that one out too and hear it. And I even sent it off to be analyzed to make sure that I wasn't like losing my mind. But it was clear as day. I mean, there was no misunderstanding what this thing was saying. I was like, okay, whatever it is, it's not very fond of me.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I haven't been on Instagram for very long. I've only just created the Spirit Cruise South Australia one. I've been doing lots more on Facebook.
So I had it for, I think, a month.
Yeah, not very long at all. I haven't even posted that much up, to tell you the truth. I'm still trying to work out how to use it.
So trick, because when people search, they search by the hashtag.
Okay.
I'm specifically waiting for Christmas so that I can release it on purpose. So I was like, well, and then so now I'm just kind of like, get the word out there, keeping updates, trying to, post the little snippets from my recordings I'll put out there just to be like, hey, the same cat has walked by my window 4 times. He's running the streets. He's a neighbor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just keeps walking around the house.
He's doing his rounds.
Yeah, I don't know. He's weird. He was an inside cat, and then he escaped, and then he only came to me, and then I took him back over there, but he kept getting out, and so they eventually screw it, we'll let him be an outside cat. So now he just runs laps around my house for some reason. we're buddies apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
But I haven't figured out live stuff yet. I got to work on that.
Yeah, I haven't done a live, but I do most of my lives on Facebook anyway. And then I'll download my lives and then post them on my YouTube channel. So, which is like, it's called Spirit Watcher 8. So
Okay.
I've got like, that's a compilation of like Spirit Cruise South Australia night watches and stuff I used to do when I used to do the cemeteries during the day. So I've got quite a few videos on there at the moment. So, but it's mostly like,
Awesome.
yeah, mostly because I sort of like alternate between the two or three groups that I'm a part
Hey,
of. And
I can relate to that. For a while, I had 2 podcasts.
yeah,
So I was, yeah, it gets a little hectic, but
it does. Yeah. But my YouTube channel is like, it's just for everything that I can, I started off as I think I started off as Christine Paranormal. Then I changed it to Spirit Crew because I become a part of Spirit Crew.
Mhm.
And then I changed it to like just like, was it I had to change it. I just changed it to Spirit, not Spirit Watcher, not that long ago, because it was too hard to pronounce. Was it Christine? So it's CDSSCNW Paranormal. So that was
Oh
like to
wow.
try and remember
Yeah,
that to tell people.
yeah,
I'm like, yeah,
that's a
nah.
little bit of a mouthful there.
Yeah. So I did. I mean, I changed it back to Spirit Cruise South Australia, but then I thought, no, I want this to be where I can post everything, like put
Yeah,
everything up. So I just Spirit Watcher 8. So
can't
that's,
beat
I mean,
that.
sorry, no, that's how you get into it. So it's just called Spirit Watcher Paranormal. I think it's pretty sure on YouTube.
Okay.
So that's got everything. I've got quite a few videos on there for from like when I first started doing the cemeteries during the day, to yeah, from Spirit Crew night watches, just everything. Yeah,
Yeah, so
it's a
yeah,
good
definitely.
compilation of everything. Yeah.
All right, people, everybody out there listening, check her out. Just saying, thoroughly, thoroughly appreciate you being here and coming on to talk to me.
No,
Uh,
thank you so much for having me. It's been great chatting with you.
oh, say it has been awesome. You are my first ever interview, my first
Oh,
ever
cool.
across the pond. We're just hitting all of them.
We
Boom.
are too, because you're my very first podcast. So
We
yay.
are awesome. We are rocking. But yeah, say my stuff's always on there. So if you ever have questions
I
or anything like
Yep.
that, so just so that you know, when I do a release, I think 2 of the first initial posts that I'm going to put out for episodes, one is the Ohio State Reformatory and the ghost hunt stuff
Oh
that I did.
wow.
So that's one of them. And then I already have one episode of all, well, it's not even all, it's just some of the weird stuff that happens to me here. I've got another one that I'm going to go with a house that I grew up in, which is where I saw my first one and everything. So I've got a little bit of everything kind of in there. So if we do that, you can check all those out. And like I said,
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
at another point we can get you back on here, get some more stories and get everything situated. That'd be stellar.
That'd be wicked. I've got a few more stories still.
Oh, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
All about it. And I'll definitely probably hit you up next Christmas. I have an idea for Christmas Eve thing.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So, do it the old way, the old English tradition where you gather on the fire, which would probably in my case be a candle because I don't have fires. I live in town.
Yeah, I don't have fires either. It's too hot
Um,
here in Australia for fires,
yeah, they used to gather around the
especially Christmas
fire
time.
and tell ghost stories on Christmas Eve.
I see we wouldn't well, Christmas Eve, I think families get together because it's too damn hot here in Australia for fires.
Well, yeah, that wouldn't be any fun.
No.
But yeah, say definitely for sure. I'll go on there and subscribe to that and check all that out. And like I said, you can always reach me on Instagram. I'm on the Facebook too, and my email and all that fun
So
jazz.
are you Cryptids Creeps and that on Facebook as well, or?
Yep, I've got
All
a
right,
I've
cool.
got
I'll
a
have to
page
check
on
you out on
Facebook.
Facebook.
Mhm.
Yep.
Awesome,
I'll have to
awesome.
check you out on all my three pages on Facebook.
I'll say I've got I do a lot of my marketing on Facebook, so
Okay, cool.
I think I'm on 82 groups right now.
Oh, wow.
I got to keep them all straight, but we're going to work on it.
Yeah.
But all right, awesome. Well, thank you again so much, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future, getting more stories. And while you're out there, doing your thing. Be safe.
Oh yes, definitely. Always
No
protecting
possessions.
ourselves.
No
No.
possessions. None of
Oh,
that. Don't be
we
pushed down the
don't
stairs.
no, we don't give them permission. I always say, especially when we're in a graveyard, I do not give you permission to attach yourself or anybody in my team. You are to stay here.
Very
Yeah.
good.
For the love of Jesus, you are to stay here. You can't, no, don't give you permission. So yeah, no, we always do that.
All right.
And
Well,
protect
perfect.
ourselves with white light and all that. So
I keep sage in my car.
sage.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean,
have-
that will calm them down, but it won't get rid of them.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes I just need to. It gets a little cray cray, but
Yeah.
yeah. All right, awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this and then
Yeah,
wrap
sure.
it up. And but whenever
sure.
I post it, I always post my episodes on Instagram as well, and I will be tagging you in it so you know when it's out
Cool.
there.
I'll get a notification. Yeah. Excellent.
All right,
No
awesome.
worries.
Well, thanks again.
Thank you so much. It's been great. All right.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.
And that wraps up our episode for today. Please rate and review the show wherever you listen to help me out and make the podcast easier for others to find. And don't forget to follow on Facebook and Instagram and check out the website at www.cryptidscreepsandconspiracy.com. There you can find episodes, links to the social media, leave a review, find the link to the merch store, and donate to support the continuation of this pod. You can also find the link to the Patreon page. I hope to see you next time. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe, rate, and review anywhere you listen. This is more beneficial than you may know and will help others locate the podcast. Don't forget to check out my Patreon page as well. We currently have 2 tiers. The Snallygaster tier that'll get you unedited bonus audio, a sticker, a shout out on the podcast, and access to the private Discord server. The second tier is the Phantom tier, and that'll get you all of the benefits of the Snallygaster tier, plus access to live streams and Q&A sessions, and is the only place you can access all video footage from regular episodes as well as the Patreon exclusive episodes. You can subscribe today at patreon.com/cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy. Don't forget to head over to the TeePublic website and take a look at a variety of merch options that are available. You can also find and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, X, and YouTube. All of these links can be found in the description of this episode under the Linktree hyperlink. Until next time, my friends, dare to believe.